98 414-240-2298.
Ben Brust here for the Princeton Club. If you're looking for your better tomorrow, you know where to go. It's the Princeton Club. If you're looking to grow, it's also the Princeton Club, because they will cheer for you in all areas of your life. The best way to do that is to start a foundation of having a healthy body, and your growth will start from there. With the cleanest health clubs in Wisconsin, they provide everything for you to reach your goals. Start your better tomorrow today and grow in all areas of your life at the Princeton Club. Join for a better tomorrow.
Looking up at the Marquette banners, brought to you by Saganiac Planning. Number 15 retired in honor of Butch Lee. He finished in 78, and the number retired the next season. It's hard to believe that any player could ever equal what Butch Lee did at Marquette. Part of the national championship team in 77, and the Final Four MVP, and the next season, the consensus National Player of the Year. So much success, it's not necessary to bring up any statistics. Number 15, Butch Lee, did everything. Running a business means taking care of your team and your bottom line. For over 50 years, Saganiac Planning has helped small businesses build smarter, more affordable medical and employee benefit plans. From health insurance to customized coverage options, our experts make it simple to protect your people and your future. Saganiac Planning, your partner in planning confidence. Visit SaganiacPlanning.com or call John Saganiac Jr. today to get started. 262-783-6161.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Gruber Law Offices, a proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks.
Eastbound 94, slowing down from 92nd Street all the way to Hawley Road. The westbound side's backed up from just west of 27th Street past Mitchell Boulevard. The rest of the system is looking pretty good. Starting to tighten up just a little bit on 894 westbound, starting at about 35th Street, heading past Loomis to about 51st. Otherwise, for the most part, looking pretty good. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, becoming mostly sunny, windy, and warm, a high of 60. Tonight, increasing clouds, a low of 35. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
This is Brian Balaga. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN.
94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. Showtime. The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamora. Here's Jen Latta.
How many exclamation points did I put on the text last night when it was announced by the Green Bay Packers
7
that Rich Bisaccia was stepping down?
Oh, limit does not exist.
Right. It was like, guys! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Rich Bisaccia, special teams, and was it associate head coach, assistant head coach? I never know what is the difference between associate and assistant.
Assistant head coach just seems weird, so it's usually going to be the associate head coach.
Assistant sounds like right on top of that, Rose.
Yeah,
is that like assistant.
Yeah, assistant to the head coach, kind of like George Costanza was the assistant to the traveling secretary.
It's usually a protection mechanism. Why are you protecting him?
I think they just put that title on him to kind of help justify the money. And he was helping out. I think it was, again, just responsibilities that he had.
Rich Bisaccia, go ahead, you.
Usually you put it on so the only job he could take would be head coach.
Yeah.
Right? Because everything else would be a lateral move.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
But, I mean, LaFleur's not a guy like McCarthy where he's blocking anybody. If somebody wants to go, LaFleur's giving them the opportunity to go interview other places, even if it is a lateral move.
And if he wants someone to go, he just brings them back if they have nowhere to go.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes.
Fair.
Sometimes. It's happened.
So
it's attempted to happen.
The Packers put out a announcement last night that Rich Bisaccia is, in fact, stepping down. Very interesting, if for no other reason than the timing of it, right, guys? Because the coaching carousel, it's been swinging, it's been spinning, and people have been getting fired and getting hired, and well, now we're several weeks removed from it. I mean, hell, the combine is next week, and I know that the Packers don't love the combine, put a ton of attention towards the combine.
Well, the coaching staff, at least.
I mean, the scouts go and Gutekunst goes, but sort of that's the next step in the calendar of the NFL. And now the Green Bay Packers are without a special teams coordinator / associate head coach. Now, I don't know if whoever the replacement is, there we go, sentence structure, will also be the associate head coach. But I do think this is cause for concern. I know that people want to celebrate this morning. I get it. I see the tweets. I see the messages. I see the texts that come in on the Carbless Talking text line. People don't like Bisaccia. And on some level, that's fair because Gabe, 4 straight years of below average special teams is not a great endorsement of the special teams coordinator.
Sure, but again, I guess I just don't care who the special teams coordinator is. I don't. Because, I mean, how many more years do we got to go through this? Like, everyone before Rich was bad. So what did they do? They went out and got the most respected special teams coordinator they could when they hired Rich. So you tell me what's more likely. The team that struggled since basically 2014 with special teams just doesn't care about special teams, or the guy who's been a coordinator since 2002, a special teams coordinator since 2002 in this league, is highly respected across the league. He suddenly forgot how to coach? Or the Packers don't really care about special teams? What seems more likely?
Highly respected or highly liked?
Highly respected. He is respected across the league, Chew. Like,
because
when I've done some of the
liked.
stuff... No, I mean, he's highly respected across the league. There's a reason the Packers paid him $3 million to come here, because he was looked at as one of the premier special teams coordinators in this league. And look, I mean, the ones that the Packers care about, we talked about this throughout the course of the season, the Packers seemingly only cared about coverage units. They didn't really care about return units. And the Packers, in the special teams rankings that Bill Huber has in his in a piece over at Sports Illustrated, the Packers were 4th in punts, and they were 11th in kickoff coverage. But everything else is what dragged them down. The opponent punt, the kick returns, or excuse me, the kickoff, them returning punts, them returning kicks, that's what dragged them down, plus a couple of missed kicks that were not opportune for Brandon McManus, which I think we all agree
is not Rich Bisaccia's fault.
That's not on Rich.
No.
So those are the 3 things that dragged him down, and I don't think they care about those returns.
But he can't take credit for the punting because the punting was very good.
Conversely, you're saying if you can't blame him for McManus's issues, you also can't give him credit for Whelan.
I'm not saying Whelan being a good punter, but the coverage unit, that's certainly.
That's coaching.
I don't care about Whelan and how far he can kick it. Yes, that's 100% not on Rich, but the coverage units themselves were pretty good. So go ahead. Everybody can celebrate today. I feel like it's going to be more of the same because they literally went out the last time they hired a coordinator and got the best one they could, made him the highest paid coordinator that they could. But unless Gutekunst and company kind of change the way they approach special teams, it's going to be more of the same next year.
I'm not celebrating. I'm just, when you are the highest paid special teams coach in the league and you underperform, dude, you should be fired.
Well, do you think he was fired? Okay, so let's just dive into that for a second, because that, Chew, was one of the things that people were immediately asking, right? Because of the way it was phrased, because of the way it was put out there, it was like he's stepping down, but he's not retiring. And he's 65, so if he chose to retire, it would make perfect sense. Like, sail off into the sunset, go hang out with your family, go do all the things that retired people do. But he's not retiring based on the statement. Well, and this one line, Chew, I want to read it really quickly here before you tell me what you think about it. He said, "I look forward to whatever is next for me and my family. I wish nothing but the best for everyone in the organization." Whatever is next? That line to me was like, whatever is next.
This is what drives me crazy. Okay? Because before I got into this business, I talked to Ron probably 8 to 10 years after, probably 6 years after he retired, probably 8 to 10 after I retired. And I asked him, we were at a dinner, and I said, why did you retire so young or get away from? He's like, because the people that don't know bleep and that were telling me to do were driving me nuts. Okay? And I wasn't in this business yet. But a lack of transparency, what are we supposed to do? Right? Instead of coming out and telling us, like, they could have very easily said, well, we decided to part ways. You know? Except they give you this fluff BS, and we have to try to put the pieces together. And I love Ron to death, but when you're not transparent about how many years LaFleur and his little buddies got for an extension with this, we're only left to speculate, right? We have to put the puzzle together.
Yeah, Jason says that all the time. When there's a lack of information, people are forced to fill in the blanks themselves,
Absolutely.
and that speculation can be dangerous. I'll tell you this, Chew, when you're talking about this, though, the 40 days between the last game of the season, when the Packers lost to the Bears in the playoffs, and yesterday is also odd. Is it not? I understand people wanting to reflect on the year, take a little time, right? We've dealt with this with Aaron Rodgers before, where it's like, I got to get away from it. I got to think about what I want. But now it puts the team behind the 8 ball, doesn't it?
Based upon this statement, I would say, which is weird, like you said, Jen, that it took this long to have that discussion. LaFleur went to him and said, I'm going to remove your associate head coach tag, or I'm going to ask you to take a pay cut, or something along those lines, where this to me seems a mutually parting of ways, which is why did it take 40 days? Because the coaching carousel is just about done. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Yeah. But
so
again,
now you're slim pickings.
Gabe's like, I don't care. Doesn't matter.
I mean, again, it doesn't matter who they hire. I mean, for this position, again, unless the Packers fundamentally change who they are as a franchise,
but
the special teams coordinator doesn't matter. Sure, they could hire you.
No,
all right? They could hire you, and it's going to be the same next year. I guess the reason why I don't think it's a firing is because of the way literally everybody who talked about Rich Bisaccia, who has access inside that building, right? We're talking about the guys like John Kuhn. We're talking about Goody. We're talking about LaFleur. We're talking, again, people who are around him, like, they did nothing but sing his praises. So
that's a nice guy.
No, but as
on that, actually,
great
right?
Coach, great culture guy, big part of what we do around here.
So then what do you think happened?
I mean, I listen, I want to play the X-Files music. Give it to me. Because I think this is what I'm hearing from Gabe. I think your great conspiracy about the Green Bay Packers is that Rich Bisaccia is a good coach, even great maybe, if you listen to people around the league.
Yes.
And the Packers as an organization didn't prioritize special teams, so he was going out there year after year trying to make a gourmet meal with less than gourmet ingredients because the scouts and the GM was not giving him the pieces in order to have successful and elite special teams. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, and then when the special teams fail, who gets the blame?
Bisaccia. So you're blaming LaFleur. Because I can tell you this.
I think it's a combination of LaFleur, a combination of Gutekunst, guys that are making those. What do you mean, no?
I think you're wrong.
Like, Goody hasn't cared about special teams. Like,
as far as getting players? No, that's LaFleur. Because let me tell you what. All right, back when I played Holmgren, he made it a point to include special teams every time he was talking about a game. There's 3 phases of the game.
Yep.
There's offense, defense, and special teams. Because special teams is insecure. So he would have to build them up. But most teams, like when we played and special teams struggled, Holmgren would say, okay, I'm putting some starters on special teams, which he did. He did. So if they're not taking that same approach in the building, that's LaFleur's fault. That's 100% on LaFleur. I'm not blaming Goody one bit, because when you struggle from a stress special team standpoint, you're putting players who normally wouldn't be on those units to improve. And if he doesn't, then he's a moron.
Well, I mean, I think they did that, Chew, if you take a look at so they had a couple of kicks blocked early in the season, then they did that, and that wasn't an issue on, because again, misses are on McManus. Blocked kicks, chances are, I mean, if the operation was smooth, chances are you're making wrong decisions on. And after those block kicks, I think they made some of those moves and more starters were in there. Again, then now we're talking about the depth of the offensive line, which is another conversation we've had about how that's terrible. Again, it goes back to one guy there. But they really haven't invested in the returner. Like, they haven't had a punt returner, Chew, in forever. That's not on LaFleur. That's not on Bisaccia. That's on Goody, because they had McCole Hardman. They could have done that. Take a look at what the Seahawks. Again, I don't want to. It's hard to year after year because there's so many different ways to win a Super Bowl. You look at the teams that got there last year, the teams that got there this year, it was different ways. But the Seahawks, without going and getting Rashid Shaheed, I don't know if they go to the Super Bowl. Because Shaheed had a huge punt return and a big comeback that got them the number 1 seed. Huge kickoff return in their divisional round against the 49ers that just jump-started that team and led to a huge... They had Romeo Doubs back there returning punts because they just wanted somebody to be able to fair catch the football because they don't want to, for whatever reason. You guys had Desmond. And then you guys also, Chew, had wide receivers that got injured in 1996. Guess what Desmond did not do? He didn't play wide receiver.
Because he wasn't any good. Yeah,
but he was a really good returner.
Yeah.
And that was his position. The Packers haven't had that guy in God knows how long.
But if I'm LaFleur, and if that's the case and Goody's not feeding, then I'm putting Jaden Reed back there. So when Jaden Reed gets hurt returning a punt, you go, hey, Goody, what the hell you want me to do? How about you give me a returner?
Well, I do believe that at least at one point this season, they did put some veterans, some older players, some offensive and defensive players on these special teams units, didn't they?
Yes. Yeah, they did. And this year, too, they couldn't put Jaden back there because, he was playing through
it's someone of his ilk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying.
And honestly, I thought that would have been a great spot for Matthew Golden, right? If you're not going to use him on offense, at least try to give him some special teams touches, see if he can break anything. They didn't do that either.
Well, wasn't it supposed to be Savion Williams?
For kick returns, but he's not a punt returner.
No, I know. It's just...
they haven't had one guy to do both jobs because even when Keyshawn was being first-team All-Pro kick returner, he wasn't returning punts. They haven't had one guy like you guys had, like Desmond Howard, Roel Preston.
And then
Alan
when Keyshawn
Russell
became CB1, he was like, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
That was the other iteration of that. So this is an interesting philosophy. This is an interesting theory by our Gabe Neitzel. The issues on special teams, are they Rich Bisaccia's fault, or is it a sign of a more philosophical, systemic issue with the way that Green Bay builds its roster and then uses its players? I think there's something to that. I really do. I think Gabe is onto something here. And I wouldn't be surprised, my opinion here, if Rich Bisaccia was sick of it. If he was sick of it.
If he was the face of it and he wasn't getting what he thought he needed.
And catching all the fire and catching all the criticism, and every year people calling for his job. Lost the words there. Swallowed them. I don't think that this is that far-fetched. 800-990-3776. Gabe makes an excellent point. What's more likely, that Rich Bisaccia, who is well-respected throughout the league, forgot how to coach all over the years, right? Because you could always argue that the first year, you're figuring things out. The second year takes a little bit of time. But by now, you would think that he would have been able to put his stamp on the special teams unit. Unless... he isn't getting the weapons, he isn't getting the resources, he isn't getting the ingredients that he needs to make them formidable units. I want to know what you think out there. 800-990-3776. I think this has teeth. I think this has merit. Gabe Neitzel, bravo, good work.
Yeah, I try to do what I can.
But there might
show up to work every day.
There could be another angle.
You try to grind away. Well, come up with an angle then. Match me. Let's go toe-to-toe, big guy.
Okay. In your years that you played and you covered units, what did you think? I'm just saying, sometimes guys, and Rich Bisaccia sounds like a nice guy to me. You cut your teeth on special teams. Okay? And some guys didn't need to think they cut their teeth on special teams and they half-ass it. Well, that's the coach's responsibility to get it out of the guy. I played with guys like that. I've seen guys get fined for loafing. Okay? But Nolan Cromwell...
again, you want to talk about loafing? Again, I think this is a bigger systemic issue than
I
Rich.
agree.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
If we want to blame LaFleur, we can. If we want to blame Goody, I think it's everybody.
Yeah,
maybe Rich could have been a little bit better.
You heard me say this 1,000 times. Once you let the little stuff go, then you start letting the bigger stuff go.
He's been a coordinator since 2002. Do we think he forgot how to coach?
How were those units?
I think they were fantastic. The people that I've talked to, like when I do the national shows and I'd mention the Packers special teams are terrible, really? But Rich Bisaccia is their coordinator.
Yeah.
Because that's how well respected he is as a coordinator around the league.
I'm telling you, I've been around guys that sit there. I can't believe I'm playing special teams. I should be like the starting linebacker, you know?
Sure.
And that's the coach's responsibility to, you know. Nolan was a screamer, was a yeller.
I've got a feeling, too, if somebody thought, when somebody thought that they should have been the starting linebacker and they weren't, and they actually probably weren't that good and pretty replaceable, what would Ron do?
No, he'd get rid of him. You know? But, and you know what's funny? Like, I don't know whether it's just me, but we had special teams guys that everyone knew.
That's what I've been saying.
Travis Jervey, Jeff Thomas, and Timmy Houck.
Yes.
Guys that were like, all right, my time to shine, and they shined. Who shines on special teams for the Packers?
That's what
What's his name? The receiver, CB. That's one.
Oh, Bo Melton.
Bo Melton, right? We had like Lamont Hollenquist, another one, great special teamers.
Yeah.
And people knew it. Mm-hmm. They're like, okay, here, Desmond, here we go. Lamont,
well, I think
Travis, here we go. Now it's like.
And now Josh isn't here, so I always forget the guy's name. But he was
Will.
like.
It's Will. Will is behind the glass.
Yeah, no,
that's my name.
Yeah, no, but.
We're going to get to Will being an athlete later on in the show.
But Josh always remembers the name of the guy that, like, the one guy Rich got. He wore number 6, and he was a special teams guy, and then he got that personal foul penalty and then got cut. And I can't remember the guy's name. I always forget it. Josh always remembers it, and I can't rember who it is. I'm sure somebody's going to
know. Levitt? Was it Levitt?
Dallin Levitt, yes.
Yeah.
All right, I'm out of here.
Showmanship.
Go out on a high note. But that was like the one guy Rich got. Again, it was pretty bad, 15-yard penalty. He got cut. And then it's like Rich never got another guy ever again.
All right. We got to take a break here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Lots of reaction rolling in. It is coming in fast and furious on the ESPN Milwaukee Carbless talk and text line, 800-990-3776. You can also weigh in on the YouTube stream. Lots of folks talking. So now we're defending Bisaccia, Tim says. We've been hammering him for the last 3 years and begging LaFleur to fire him. He's out, and now we're defending him. Got it.
Again, you can do that. I have not been doing that. Right? I hate it when people throw this. Yeah, there have been a lot of people doing that. I have not. Like, you can have your opinion. That's fine. If you think that Rich Bisaccia should be fired, that's fine. But I'm just trying to provide, like, what I've seen through the numbers. And then, again, a guy who's been a coordinator since 2002, I don't think he suddenly forgot how to coach. I think there's a bigger issue with Packers special teams. And it's been proven. Like, how many special teams coordinators have the Packers had? It wouldn't shock me if it was amongst the most in the NFL in the last 11, 12 years. It would not shock me if that was the case for this Packers team. And guess what? Nothing's changed. And it's been different head coaches, and it's been different coordinators. I just don't know if, as an organization, they care.
800-990-3776. Let us know. Taking calls, taking your responses, taking your texts all morning long on Rich Bisaccia stepping down as the special teams coordinator for your Green Bay Packers. More in a minute.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Eastbound 94 slowing down right out of the Zoo interchange all the way past 68th Street. The westbound side slowing down from just west of 27th Street past Mitchell Boulevard. We've also got westbound 894 now starting to slow down from Loomis all the way to about 76th Street. The rest of the system still looking pretty good. Just a couple of broken down vehicles out there. Northbound 94 just north of Highway 20. It's off on the right shoulder. Looks like that's a semi there. So just be careful when the big tow trucks get out there. Traffic is brought to you by Geist Garage Doors. For over 70 years, Geist Garage Doors has been the local trusted name for garage door sales, service, and repair. Visit GeistDoors.com and don't think twice, call Geist. And check out the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, becoming mostly sunny, windy, and warm. A high of 60 tonight, increasing clouds, a low of 35. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
A Road at Night is a documentary chronicling former Badgers player and coach Howard Moore and the 2019 tragedy that forever changed his family. You can see it on the big screen at Marcus Point Cinema in Madison, February 13th through the 19th, with exclusive post-screening panels during the opening weekend. A Road at Night, February 13th through 19th at Marcus Point Cinema in Madison. All proceeds support Howard Moore's ongoing care. Find showtimes and get tickets right now at aroadatnight.com.
We need to optimize the PID controller for smoother robotic movements. Our data analysis shows a significant correlation between the variables in both control groups.
The test shows you experience an acute myocardial infarction.
As you'll see on the syllabus, this course will largely focus on the Mesozoic era.
Get your child the access every child deserves. Enroll your K through 8th grade child by February 28 at Milwaukee College Prep, mkeprep.com/enroll.
Hey Tom, I want a new hoop for the kids. Any ideas?
Yeah, I got mine from Precision Sports over 10 years ago. They helped me choose the right hoop, installed it, and even painted my court lines.
Nice. How do I reach them?
Easy. PrecisionSportsOnline.com for a free quote.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-568-2790. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-568-2790. That's 800-568-2790. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-568-2790.
Imagine working with a contractor that quits halfway through a project or never calls you back when you have questions, or worse, takes your money and you never see them again. Unfortunately, we hear about them all the time. Hi, this is Eric Brown, owner of Siding Unlimited, and Siding Unlimited is absolutely not that company. Siding Unlimited has been doing business for 32 years, proving to be an honest, ethical, and forthright company. If you're looking for the honest guys for your next siding, windows, roofing, and doors project, stop by sidingunlimited.com today.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year.
For over 50 years, Covenant House has been helping youth in crisis. To learn more, go to covenanthouse.org today.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
363.
What's that?
The number of yards they gave up on the ground against the Philadelphia
It's a Bible
Eagles.
verse, John 3:63. Look it up. Tell us what it
I
says.
thought it was Joe 363, and it was "Thou shalt not get past me on the line of scrimmage."
On 94.5 ESPN.
It's a Wendorf Wednesday here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy at Tony Wendorf and Associates, Keller Williams. They believe in the human side of real estate, faith, family, and friends. They move fast, negotiate with confidence, and communicate clearly so their clients win, no matter if it's buying or selling. Get started today at wendorfteam.kw.com. That's wendorfteam.kw.com. Taking your reaction all morning long to the Rich Bisaccia news that he has stepped down from the special teams coordinator for your Green Bay Packers. Reaction rolling in. People have a lot to say this morning about Rich Bisaccia. When is the last time we had a true special teams player, says Justin in Jacksonville. Can't remember, but other teams have core special teamers. I've been saying for years I never understood all the "in Goody we trust" fans. He continually has been a day late and a dollar short in multiple areas when it comes to managing this roster, and it largely goes unscathed only until recently. That from Jaws in Milwaukee. If we didn't give him the talent needed, why would we pay him above average? Isn't he supposed to raise the level of play with the guys he has? If we bring in more talent than any special teams coach could get it done. That from Kevin in the 317. Do you agree with that assessment?
Bill Belichick stunk with the Cleveland Browns, right? Then when he got him good players, he became one of the greatest coaches in NFL history. Right? There's only so much you can do if you literally don't care about something. You can raise it only to a certain level. And again, I think the two things the Packers told Rich Bisaccia, again, I have no way to prove this, but I think they told him, hey, we care about the coverage units, don't really care about the return units, as evidenced by Romeo Doubs just basically going back there and fair catching punts. Right? They just didn't seem to care about that. So, and their coverage units were good. By any measure, whatever, wherever you're going to take a look, DVOA or, again, Rick Gosselin, former NFL writer, puts together his special teams rankings. Packers coverage units were good on those rankings. Everything else is what dragged them down. And if they don't care about returns, There's only so much any special teams coordinator can do. I don't think, again, I don't care who the special teams coordinator is. That's my main point, because I don't think it's going to change. I think the Packers are still going to have special teams issues next year until they decide as an organization it's something that they want to care about.
What were they ranked last year?
Overall, in the Rick Gosselin rankings, they were 20th.
Yeah, that's just not acceptable.
They were fourth. They were fourth in punt coverage, 28th in punt returns, 11 in kickoff coverage, 21st in kickoff returns, and 23rd in field goal percentage.
I mean, do you guys think it's important?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
They don't call it 3 phases for nothing.
No, I know. I'd be
2.5
blown away.
phases.
I'd be blown away if they didn't care.
How else am I supposed to interpret it, Chew? Because, again, it's been going on for the last time they had a punt return for a touchdown was 2014.
Yeah.
Like, it's been going on forever. They had the special teams blunder in that NFC Championship game. They fired the special teams coordinator. Didn't really change anything in 15. And they even had a guy that they really liked in Jeff Janis. Like, that might be the last time everyone, oh, yeah, Jeff Janis, great special teams guy.
It looks like, Chew, it was back in October of 2025. Justice Mosqueda, again, who was reporting that LaFleur and company did have some of their starters out there on special teams. He tweeted about Elton Jenkins being out there on field goal protection with the rest of the offensive line. So at some point, Gabe, this past year, they did pivot and try to put some of those starters out there on special teams, recognizing maybe the lack of either talent or production in the guys they had been using.
Because the Browns and Cowboys game, they had field goals blocked. After that, they didn't. And
so what are we saying it could possibly be? Could possibly be a mutual parting of ways. It could be a firing. It could be Bisaccia's fed up with everything. What else? I mean, what are the other possibilities, since they're not giving us anything?
I was about to say, Chewy, literally, it could be anything.
Performance?
The statements, it could be. I mean, and that could be leading to the firing. I mean, the two statements released by both Bisaccia and the Packers are just so vague, I think it leaves the door open for just about anything.
Yeah.
Because, again, to Jen's point that she made earlier, if he was just retiring, he would say he's retiring, but he's stepping down, which, again, because it's a coaching contract, I usually those assistant coach contracts, Chew, and you can correct me, they're usually 2 or 3 years is the way they typically do those. So I don't know if he's got a year or two left on the current deal. He was the coordinator for 4 years.
But I guarantee he's probably the only special teams coordinator that is also an associate head coach.
Oh, yeah.
Like the associate head coach, I don't understand, because that is there just to protect good coaches from taking other jobs. That's why that tag was created.
Yeah, but I don't know if everybody necessarily uses that way. I think sometimes they just use it as a promotional tool, too, to justify giving somebody.
Yeah, but why are you promoting a guy who's...
Well, no, just to justify. I think it was a tag, Chew, to help justify whatever salary he was making as the highest paid special teams guy.
But I go back to, Jen, what you originally said. If it was a mutual parting of ways, why did it take a month? Why did it take a month?
Well, and I do see a lot of reaction rolling in on the YouTube stream where people are insistent, or at least have convinced themselves, that this was not a mutual parting of ways, that this was a firing, which, to be perfectly honest with you, I think
would also be troubling.
That it occurred now as opposed to earlier
for a number of different reasons
in the process.
Firing, you still get paid. If you quit, you don't get paid. I believe.
But maybe that's the distinction. Maybe there was a heart-to-heart conversation, and it was, this is what's best for the organization.
Yeah, but if you're stepping away, I'm sure Rich has probably enough money, to live comfortably in retirement, but
you're still not walking away from what does he make?
$3 million is $3 million bucks, man. I'm not going, hey, out of the goodness of my heart, I'm just going to leave that on the table.
I mean, they still owe me per diem, I think, and I want that back.
Jonathan weighing in, saying, me and my buddies literally threw a party last night when they announced that Rich Bisaccia was stepping down. 800-990-3776. Keep getting us your reaction this morning. And do you buy what Gabe is selling, which is that this goes beyond Rich Bisaccia, that these might be systemic organizational issues with regards to how they view the value of special teams. Let us know, 800-990-3776. We got to take a break. We got to get to Adam Schefter. He's coming up next here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Stick around.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
We've got some delays with the crash now. 894 eastbound right at Loomis. It is off on the left shoulder, so watch out for a little bit of bunching past that scene. The westbound side, seeing backups from the Mitchell interchange past that point to about 76th Street. On eastbound 94, we've got delays coming out of the Barker Road area all the way past Calhoun. Back on the brakes from 92nd Street all the way to Hawley Road. And then again, coming out of the Stadium interchange, westbound's backed up from 25th Street to Mitchell Boulevard. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, becoming mostly sunny, windy, and warm. A high of 60 tonight, increasing clouds, a low of 35. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Experience hot gaming action and a relaxing spa day. Your perfect winter getaway at the island. Book a stay and float package to get both a standard room and a rejuvenating 60-minute float pod therapy session for less than $100. Complement your stay with an elevated dining experience at Horizon Steakhouse and fun on the gaming floor where big wins wait for you. The Island Resort and Casino's stay and float package runs through February. Call 800-682-6040 to book yours today. Certain days and restrictions apply.
The pursuit of fair wages and top-of-the-line benefits is achieved when the right union has your back. The Sheet Metal Workers Labor Union is extremely diverse, representing Wisconsinites working HVAC, architectural metals, welding, specialty fabrication, and much more. Make great living wages with outstanding benefits, pensions, and apprenticeship programs in trained, safe working environments. The Sheet Metal Workers Union is a leading force in the revitalization of the labor movement in Wisconsin.
Founded by inventors, fueled by community, and focused on business for 130 years, Horicon Bank has helped Wisconsin businesses grow, doing banking differently since 1896. Homer here from ESPN Milwaukee. If you're a local business, that same local approach is part of the Milwaukee business community, bringing decisions closer to you. Financing approved in days, not weeks. Bankers who understand your business. Products built for real cash flow needs. When it comes to commercial lending, Horicon Bank gets the job done. Together, doing well for 130 years.
Tired of waking up exhausted? That dad bod weighing you down? Let's get you back to the old you. If your energy, focus, and drive aren't what they used to be, your hormones could be out of balance. At Mentality, we'll dig into what's really going on. Then build a personalized, science-backed plan using hormone therapy and peptide treatments to get your brain and your body back on track. So stop telling yourself you're just getting older. Book your appointment now at lowtusa.com. Right now, all new patient labs are covered in your treatment plan. That's a savings of $250. Go to lowtusa.com.
2026 Brewers tickets are on sale now. This year, it all kicks off at our house with opening day at home, followed up with a schedule that's absolutely loaded. Throw in the same flair for the dramatic thrills on any given night. Plus Brewers giveaways you won't forget. And you've got a season you're going to have to see to believe. Don't miss a second of Brewers action this year. The crew is back for more. All Brewers tickets for the 2026 season are on sale now at Brewers.com.
People say buying a home in winter is tough.
But fewer buyers means less competition, and motivated sellers can mean better opportunities.
This is Tony Wendorf with Tony Wendorf & Associates, powered by Keller Williams.
And I'm Lindsay Bendler. When the perfect home appears, our team at Tony Wendorf & Associates helps you move fast, even during the snow.
Start your home journey today with our white glove service by simply searching online, Tony Wendorf.
A real estate team that always leads with faith and gratitude.
Tony Wendorf & Associates.
Everyone's go-to source for all NFL news.
And we're going to get right to some breaking news here that just came down. This tweet from Adam Schefter.
Adam's on the phone. Adam, you got more news? What do you got?
They're going with another move, and he was the man who knows all, Adam Schefter.
And Joshy's biggest fan.
It's nice to see Josh at the big boy table. Thank you, everybody. Keep up the good work, Josh.
It's ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter. Adam Schefter on JGC is sponsored by Island Resort and Casino, Tony Wendorf & Associates, and Smart 18 Union.
On a Wendorf Wednesday, we are thrilled to be joined by Adam Schefter. Good morning, Adam. How are you doing today?
Well, Josh has got the day off, huh? That's nice for him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, he's in New Orleans. Soaking up the... Did we just lose Adam? He just dropped from the stream. God bless America.
Maybe because Josh isn't here. He's Josh's biggest fan. He's like, well, if Josh isn't here, deuces. I don't have to be here.
Adam Schefter was like, I don't want to hang out with these people. I only want to hang out with Joshy. Are we efforting to get Adam Schefter back? All right. First things first, here's what I'm going to ask Adam Schefter. How important is special teams to an NFL team's success? I feel like he might have some insight into that. Then I want to know, what do the pool of candidates look like as far as special teams go? Adam Schefter should have his thumb on that as well. We've been taking reaction all morning long to the news about Rich Bisaccia stepping down. Lee in the 262 has a theory. He says Rich is headed to Miami. Stepping down was the easiest way to transition to that staff.
If he's still under contract, him stepping down, that contract is still...
you're back.
Yeah, that contract would still be in place.
Yeah.
So, he wouldn't just be able to go coach anywhere he wants.
Do we have any idea how many years he has left on the contract?
No idea.
In a shocking development.
I mean, again, Adam probably knows more than most. Adam, most assistant coach contracts are 2 or 3 years, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, he was the coach for 4 years, maybe. Again, who knows? Could be 1 or 2.
Well, let's start here, Adam. What was your reaction when you saw that Rich Bisaccia, special teams coordinator and associate head coach for the Green Bay Packers, was stepping down when it was announced last night?
Yeah, well, he had thought about doing it last year, apparently. And so he does it this year. I know that people he felt like he failed Matt LaFleur last year. Obviously, there were some special teams issues this year, more special teams. So if he felt like he failed him last year, he certainly probably felt maybe a similar way this year. And look, I think we've seen it across the league with a lot of guys, veteran coaches this offseason. You see some of the ages of these coaches. It feels like it's getting younger all the time, and the game is changing. Some of the older coaches, Jeff Stoutland. How old is Rich Bisaccia, by the way? Do you know?
65.
Okay. Jeff Stoutland, 62 or 63, stepped away. Vic Fangio thought about it doing 68. He's in the range where in your 60s, it's a hard job. Do you want to do it or not? And obviously he thought about whether he wanted to do it last year. And he stayed on. And he goes now. What were you saying, Chewy?
And special teams coach, that's not easy. Because you think all the units you have to be in charge of, it's not like coaching tight ends. You got kickoff return, you got punt return, you got all this stuff, and you got to be creative. So I could see that. I mean, how quickly you think he moves on, though? Because he said he's not retiring.
Yeah. Look, sometimes coaches, they take a year and kind of recharge the battery. And I don't know whether you were talking about his contract, whether he did or didn't have time left. I'm sure money's not a major issue right now for him at this stage of his career. He's done pretty well over time, and he'll work again, make more money. The money's going up on these coaches, so that's not an issue. And he still is a good coach, no matter what. No matter what people in Green Bay think, they may not like him and like all the results, but he's a good coach. You can't argue that. So there'll be more work for him. There'll be more money for him, and sometimes, if you're doing that right now, stepping aside and late February. My guess would be, either you have something else, which I doubt, or you're taking the year off, and then you come back next year, and he'll be hired right away next year.
So, and it is Adam Schefter is joined. We talk to Adam Schefter every Wednesday. It's brought to you by Wendorf and Associates. Just like the moves made in the pros, Tony Wendorf and Associates. Keller Williams helps people make their own big moves every day. Trust and knowledge, superior service. They're the real estate MVPs of Wisconsin. So with it happening this late, what are the Packers' options right now? Their assistant was hired away to be the special teams coordinator in Cleveland. So happening this late in the game when a lot of the coaches have been hired and we're getting kind of toward the end of the coaching carousel, I know some staffs have to be filled out, but what options do the Packers have looking for special teams coordinators?
Well, that's a part that I found unusual, that the assistant left as well earlier in the offseason. I don't have the answers. I didn't make calls in their special teams last night. But if they knew he was leaving, why'd they let their assistant coach go? And if they let the assistant coach go, then why did they not make sure that he was staying? There are some unanswered questions that I can't answer for you this morning that you just wonder about in my own mind. But I will say this, that it's what is today? February 18th, 19th? I don't even know the date.
18th.
February 18th. It's not like you can't go find a coach on February 18th. You know, if your coach quits on May 18th, you go find somebody. It's not ideal, but you go do it. You know, these staffs have found their ways, but it could get done, and it will get done, and they'll find a special teams coach and go make it happen.
40 days after the Packers lost to the Bears, it is an unusual time for there to be a coaching change.
That's the part that strikes me, Jen. Like, you know, this guy was going to step down. Why did it take this long? Like that. That's my question. If I were me, like, what happened here? Why now? Like, Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah gets fired. You know, a month after. Why a month later? Like, I had heard that could happen. You know, like, okay, but why did we wait that long? What's the deal? So, anyway, that's the situation.
And I do think there is some concern for Packers fans, or at least there should be after they get over the glee, apparently, of Rich Bisaccia stepping down.
But okay. I don't get that, but okay. Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's, and again, look at them. The units have underperformed, right? We rattled off the numbers earlier as far as ranked 20th, they've always been in the bottom 10 as far as special teams go for the last 4 years. So I understand that there is frustration from the fan base, and it is warranted. But Rich Bisaccia, as the coordinator, obviously has taken the brunt of that criticism. Here's what I will say. Very recently, Brian Gutekunst and company have lauded, have praised, have heaped praise on Rich Bisaccia, even going so far as to saying he is a big culture guy, that he contributes to the culture in Green Bay. With his absence now, where does culture come from? You've been around a lot of teams, you've been around a lot of coaches, GMs, all of that type of stuff. Where does culture come from?
I think that's a big ambiguous question. Like,
it's what I do, Adam. Trying to just open-ended, man.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's a simple black and white answer for that question, Jen. I would say culture comes initially from ownership, and that's a different culture. I think it comes from the mood that the assistant coach or the head coach sets with his assistant coaches. I think it comes from the leaders in the locker room. Like, you can get culture from a lot of places. And the best cultures always are on winning teams, shockingly, right? When you win, I always hear about how good the culture is. Like, and then when you don't win, the culture is not as good. Like, winning, you know, where does culture come from? Winning, first and foremost. Now, how do you get to winning? Now we're back to the point of having good owners and a good head coach and good players, but it's amazing how strong the culture is when you're winning. And I think Jonathan Gannon is the defensive coordinator replacement for Jeff Hafley. That he'll bring some of his own culture, and whoever they hire as a special teams coordinator, he'll bring some more culture and player changes that they make this year. They'll bring in some guys, they dress, there'll be more culture. The culture is always being adjusted and moving around. So it's not Chewy, as a player, where does culture come from? I want to hear what a former player says about that.
Well, I can tell you that player culture doesn't come from coaches, because every time they came into a locker room, you kind of felt uncomfortable. And it's kind of like a parent going into a 13-year-old boy's bedroom. They're like, get out of here. I don't want you in here. They don't want any part of it. So that was kind of confusing, because I'm with you, Adam. Culture,
because you guys had a lot of veterans too.
Yeah, we did have. Yeah, but still, it's like, it's like, I didn't want my dad in my bedroom when I was 14 years old.
Yes, we got that. That's been covered.
You have your own showers. Go shower in there, coaches. Don't come over by us. So I don't know, but that I think was a really weird response from Goody and the organization. Like, I don't know. I'm with Adam. It's just hard to explain, and that's the problem with not being transparent as a team. Why can't they just say, maybe they were going to remove the associate head coach tag and give it to Gannon, and he didn't like that. So who the hell knows?
Smart 18, the union for Wisconsin's sheet metal workers. If you want to earn more and build a real career in the trades, this is where it starts. Better pay, incredible benefits, real training, real representation. This isn't just a job. It's a future. Learn more. Smart18.work. And to that culture point, Adam, the Packers, again, under Brian Gutekunst, this iteration of the Packers since they made the transition to Jordan Love at quarterback, they've been the youngest team in the NFL each of the last 3 seasons. To try to improve that culture, do they have to bring in more veterans?
Well, by the way, that's a culture too. It's a culture that you decide to make a conscientious decision, and at some point in time, some of these players up, and you have to keep them around so that you're not the youngest team in the league, and you're a little bit more seasoned and a little bit more experienced, and maybe this will be the year for that as well. Sure, they could use some. Look, they're still searching for ways to get to the next level. They haven't found it yet, whatever that is. If that's acquiring some veterans in free agent, going out and getting an experienced voice, an experienced player in the room, then they got to go do that. But clearly, they got to find what has been missing there the last few years.
Adam Schefter hanging out with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. All right, I want to turn to the Combine, which is next week in Indianapolis. Yep. I assume you will be there because you are always there. From a Packers standpoint, we are well aware that, it's Brian Gutekunst's show. Coaches don't even go at this point. What do you make of the way that Brian Gutekunst and company have addressed the Combine? It's his show. He's going to go. He's going to talk to the candidates. He's going to talk to the athletes. He and his scouting team are going to be. Is that pretty standard now in the NFL? That's how teams are handling the Combine?
I think it's becoming more and more standard where teams stay away from the Combine. Like, as an example, the Jaguars this year, okay? Their coaches aren't going. Their front office isn't going. The scouts and medical people are going. Okay. The Rams never send their coaches. Every organization approaches differently. And I think we're going to see more and more of teams sending just their medical staffs and their scouts. I think that's the future of this. I know front offices go, and it's really the unofficial start to the offseason where there begin to be meetings with agents about players they want to keep, and then flirting about players who could be free agents. I know the tampering period doesn't begin till Monday, March 9th, but let's be real, that those conversations are already ongoing. So the Combine has evolved, and I just think it's going to be going to a place over time to where more and more people, more and more teams will be sending fewer and fewer people to the Combine. The people that have to be there are the medical people, and I would say, some of the top scouts. Goody at his heart is a scout. That's in his DNA, and so he wants to be there. That's what he knows. Just like most GMs want to be there, but not every GM.
Adam, has it been devalued?
No, it's just evolved. It's not devalued, Chewy. It's evolved over time. And, it's just how it is. Like, the Combine is its own animal. And it wouldn't surprise me over time, if all of a sudden they're just broadcasting it. By the way, I don't even know how that works now with ESPN and NFL Network now. So is the Combine on ESPN here, NFL Network? And, I don't even know how that works. And a lot of these teams, they like to just watch it. There are some GMs I know that they're there for a day or two to take a couple of meetings. They go back and then they watch the Combine on TV because they don't want to be in Indianapolis for a week doing work when there are things that need to get done around the office.
All right, Adam, I know your Pick'em League doesn't start until the Players, but this is always a big week on the PGA Tour, Riviera.
It starts the Arnold Palmer, I found out.
Oh, Arnold Palmer.
When is that? Is that next week?
No, I think next week is the next week's the
Durrell?
Whatever it used to be the Honda, so whatever they're calling the one at PGA National, and then I believe it's the week after that, and then we get to the Players. So this week though, Adam, it's Riviera. It's one of the biggest weeks on PGA Tour. You going to be watching, paying attention, doing some scouting for your Pick'em League?
I'm watching golf. I love doing that. In the off season, this found time on Sundays. We're sitting around. It's cold on the East Coast. Yeah, Yeah, I watched some golf this weekend. Yes, and I'll watch more this
making
weekend,
some
bro.
notes. Yeah, making some notes about who you want to take early, who's looking good.
Yeah. I love that. I know Jen does too.
Huge fan. Can't wait. Trying to get to the Masters this year, Adam. Pitched a little feature, waiting to get a green
you've
light.
never
Hopefully
been?
by
You've
the
never
end of the
been,
week.
Jen?
Never been.
Well, maybe you should show a little more enthusiasm during these Adam Schefter golf segments, and maybe that'll help.
If my enthusiasm level during the Adam Schefter golf segments had anything to do with me getting to the Masters, I would. But those two things have literally nothing to do with one another. Yes, Adam, very excited at the possibility of going to the Masters for the first time. So we are going to keep our fingers crossed there. Adam, we really appreciate you hanging out with us this morning. I'm very much looking forward to seeing your reports from the Combine. I know it's a big exchange of information. You touch and base with a lot of people, a lot of touch points, and always seems to be a blast. I know it's a grind. I know it's a lot of work, just like Super Bowl week, right? Up early, staying up late.
It's all good. It's all good. Not a problem. Yeah. I don't stay up late.
You got a great gig.
Yeah, well,
I don't stay up late. I don't go to the parties.
Not for me, but I will be next week. Next week when we talk, I'll be from Indianapolis. Yes, I'll be happy.
Awesome. Adam Schefter is so great. Joins us each and every Wednesday here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Have a great one, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Our conversations with Adam Schefter brought to you by the Island Resort and Casino. It's a premier resort destination, the largest north of Milwaukee, with everything you like to do in one awesome location. Visit islandresortandcasino.com and book your total experience today.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN. Smart 18 knows that success takes teamwork. With top-level training, healthcare, and retirement plans, Smart Local 18 gives you the tools to win on and off the job site. Visit smart18.org and join the team that builds America.
Half of American parents cannot afford diapers. Hi, this is WTMJ's Kristen Bry. This spring, WTMJ and the Milwaukee Diaper Mission are teaming up to change that. Join me for WTMJ Cares Bowling for Babies, where we will raise funds for Milwaukee Diaper Mission. Register to bowl with us on March 7th at Village Bowl in Menominee Falls. Registration is now open. Go to WTMJCares.com to sign up. Act quickly, teams will fill up fast. It's WTMJ Cares Bowling for Babies to help the Milwaukee Diaper Mission.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Game Night, so for Events by Design. Events like appreciation parties and retreats can go a long way towards boosting morale and retaining top talent. Events by Design is your go-to creative partner for employee events that truly make an impact. They help leaders retain top talent by making their people feel seen, valued, and celebrated. The creative team at Events by Design does all the planning and production, making sure things not only look great, but also work. Make a smart investment in your culture today. Search online, Events by Design. They design, you party.
Access to education changes lives. That's why National University provides flexible online and hybrid programs from associate to doctorate degrees. Since 1971, NU was built to serve non-traditional working and military learners nationwide. NU understands the demands of work, family, and service. Each year, more than 130,000 learners trust National University to move forward. Visit nu.edu to learn more.
Progressive presents ways to save money that aren't bundling your home and auto insurance with Progressive.
I can't believe the deal we got on these seats for the game.
Wow, they must be pretty high up here. I think my ears just popped.
Yeah, here, put this on.
Is that an oxygen mask?
An official team oxygen mask.
Well, I can kind of see the field.
Good, your senses are still sharp. You're going to need them for phase 2 of the ascent.
Don't save money by sitting in the nosebleeds. You could save hundreds by switching to Progressive. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
We expect our information in real time. US Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 888-665-0696 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check as easy as That's 888-665-0696.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Seriously injured? Make one call. That's all.
You're listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
I mean, this world is geared towards women. Like, what do we
I
get?
am stepping away from this. Goodbye.
Like, what do we get? They get a comb that dries your hair. We get a stupid razor. I mean, what's the coolest thing we get? They get the hair dryer?
Control.
On 94.5 ESPN.
When I say this, I don't say it lightly. But wow, were we way off on why the Major League Baseball Players Association commissioner, right? And is he the commissioner? No, he's the,
He is the MLBPA executive, was the MLBPA executive director.
Tony Clark had to step down, not a stepping down right now, from his role.
A little more clarity on why he stepped down.
I thought it was financial impropriety, right? I thought he was skimming off the top sort of thing, you know.
Because the MLBPA is under federal investigation for those things.
Yeah.
Which I think it's a fair leap to make. Okay, this investigation's been going on for a while. He obviously got caught up in it. This is going to ultimately fall on him, so he needs to step away.
I was just trying to follow the bouncing ball. You know what I mean, Shu? Follow the bouncing ball?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, we were way off.
Bouncing something else.
Something was bouncing. Well, actually, we might be going too far on that because they didn't really dive into the level of inappropriate relationship. But
Yeah, we've been there.
I mean, if you need to step down,
this.
I think we've got an idea of the level of relationship.
So he was having an inappropriate relationship with his sister-in-law, who apparently is also employed by, is it the MLBPA as well?
Yeah, she was hired by the union in 2023.
Yeesh.
Did he hire
her? I mean,
you know, there's not a lot of information, if we're being honest. Like,
I mean, would I be shocked if he had a hand in her being hired?
Whoa, all right. Handsy and whatnot. We got to be real delicate with the language here. And Gabe is nervous about this, but I do want to throw this out there to the loyal listeners.
No, you should not do that.
Why? This is
it's just so off-brand.
Do
no,
it.
What
do you mean off-brand?
No, just do not
Stop.
do that.
Come on.
Don't do
Stop
that.
being a LaFleur.
You should not be.
Tell the story.
Well, no, I want to know if
There's
it's
no
worse.
story.
If it's, if it's his sister. Why is this bad, Gabe? Why is this bad?
Again, we represent the brand, all right?
I'm just wondering which is worse.
Okay,
if it's your
we
brother's
represent
wife
the
or
brand.
if
We
it's your
represent the brand.
sister's sister. I just want to know what's worse.
We represent the brand, and again, that brand is ESPN. Would you be having this conversation if, again, on national television? Probably shouldn't have it on the
Saban
local radio.
says ass on game day. I feel like that ship has sailed.
I think that's a little different than talking about what you want to bring up.
I already said it. I just don't know which is worse. You know, because on one hand, you got a relationship with your brother. On the other hand, you have a wife, you know? Like, but look, we know that both are wrong, okay? But I'm inclined to believe that the brother is worse. Because he's your brother. You got the relationship. You don't have to weigh in on this. Gabe is abstaining from this conversation. He wants to be
if
on
you were
the
smart,
record
you would too.
Here's a life vest, Jen.
as abstaining from this conversation. Well, either way, it's bad.
How's the weather
news
back
bears.
there?
Exactly.
Just saying, it's your brother, for goodness sakes. Like, that feels worse. You know?
Does it really matter if it was his wife's sister, though? It couldn't just be anybody?
Yeah, it says sister-in-law. That's the only information we have.
Well, that news an inappropriate relationship.
Inappropriate relationship with his sister-in-law.
What's up next?
Cowards. Bunch of cowards. Jen, Gabe, and Chewy rolls on. Stick around.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today. More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
We have an accident on 894 eastbound at Loomis, the left shoulder there, so watch out for that. Backups are coming in from just about 84th Street all the way to that scene. On the westbound side, we got backups all the way back into the Mitchell interchange, and those stretch all the way to to 68th Street. Southbound on the bypass, got some delays from about Cleveland Avenue all the way down to Beloit Road. We've also got northbound 4394 slowing down out of the Mitchell up and around the Plainfield curve, past Oklahoma Avenue, and again heading onto the high-rise bridge. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, becoming mostly sunny, windy, and warm. A high of 60 tonight, increasing clouds, a low of 35. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Experience hot gaming action and a relaxing spa day. Your perfect winter getaway at the island. Book a stay and float package to get both a standard room and a rejuvenating 60-minute float pod therapy session for less than $100. Complement your stay with an elevated dining experience at Horizon Steakhouse and fun on the gaming floor where big wins wait for you. The Island Resort and Casino's stay and float package runs through February. Call 800-682-6040 to book yours today. Certain days and restrictions apply.
The pursuit of fair wages and top-of-the-line benefits is achieved when the right union has your back. The Sheet Metal Workers Labor Union is extremely diverse, representing Wisconsinites working HVAC, architectural metals, welding, specialty fabrication, and much more. Make great living wages with outstanding benefits, pensions, and apprenticeship programs in trained, safe working environments. The Sheet Metal Workers Union is a leading force in the revitalization of the labor movement in Wisconsin.
You're listening to 94.5 ESPN, WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee, a Good Karma Brands radio station. Shoot. The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamora. Here's Jen Latta.
Reaction continues to roll in on the Rich Bisaccia stepping down from his role as special teams coordinator and associate head coach of your Green Bay Packers. Keep getting us your reaction. Let us know what you think. John weighing in saying something doesn't smell right. Is it health related, or does he know that Jacobs might be being released and he doesn't like it, so he's standing up for one of his guys? Man, theories abound out there, huh?
Yeah, well, always tough to speculate on somebody's health. Right? And maybe it is, and maybe we find that out down the line. But again, because the everything's so vague around it, the mind begins to wander.
But what gives you pause is if they knew this was coming, or if it's health reasons, why would you let the other guy go?
Yeah.
Because now you got to fill 2 spots on special teams, right? Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't you? That's what makes it bizarre. Or why wouldn't you if you weren't going to promote him and you knew he was going to leave, then get rid of Bisaccia then? I don't know.
Yeah, something just doesn't sit right. Something seems, again, maybe everything is, because, again, as Adam mentioned, he thought about stepping down last year, decided to come back for another year. But then why not step down closer to the end of the season? Why wait 40 days?
DJ in the song weighing in saying if the players on special teams are struggling, we have to assume it's the quality of the player, not the quality of the coaching. So this is 100% on Goody. LaFleur and Bisaccia have been asked for years to make chicken soup out of chicken you-know-what.
Well, if you dive into the Bill Huber article, too, do you know the last time the Packers were a net positive in special teams?
2004.
Close. 2007. 2007 was the last time the Packers special teams were net positive. That seems impossible.
I think it's absolutely fair to say that it is not a priority.
Yeah. It just seems impossible.
Gabe, who are some of the top teams
this year
on that list when it comes to? I'm just wondering if they're bad teams or they're good teams.
Mixture of both. So the Colts are number 1. They missed the playoffs. The Jets are number 2.
I mean, again, I think we all know why the Colts missed the playoffs, right? When you got that revolving door at quarterback all season long, that's going to be a tough row to hoe.
The Seahawks for 3. Ravens 4. Bengals 5. Texans tied for 6 with the Commanders. Dolphins 8. Giants 9. Jags 10. So in the top 10, you had 1, 2, 3 teams make the playoffs. Of teams that are in the top 10 of the rankings. So 7 of the 10 missed the playoffs.
So I think we can spin this into another conversation that people are having about the Green Bay Packers. Evan Cohen was on Wilde and Tausch yesterday, and he basically was like fed up. Maybe like Rich Bisaccia. Again, it's a theory. He says he was bored with the Packers because every year we're talking about the same thing, them just missing out on a run, them being okay but not great. Let's listen to Evan Cohen.
Like, I remember sitting here a year ago with you guys, and we had this exact conversation about if we're here again in the same position a year from now, that's when the hot seat conversation comes. That's when you wonder, was he worth the money? And we're doing the same damn thing over and over again with the contract extension for the coach and for Jason, the GM, like, if we're going to be critical. Like, this is just, I'm like, I don't want to say I'm bored of this because it's never the wrong thing to talk Packers and Jordan Love, but I'm bored of the fact that you guys don't have tangibly a new conversation to have because they have not given you one. And how you guys are not frustrated by that is beyond me. You guys are having the right conversations, but I don't understand how you're not bothered by this franchise that has had so many great players and quarterbacks specifically that they're not giving you anything new to talk about. For the last 3 years, it's what is Jordan Love? What is Matt LaFleur? Enough with this already.
Well, and I think to be fair, this probably fuels a lot of the frustration that our loyal listeners hear on this program when we're saying things like, should they be doing something differently, right? What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Like, there's a part of this show where we have been like, what you're doing isn't working, certainly not to the extent that you would like it to. Certainly if the standard is championships, which we believe that it still is. Are the Packers stuck? Or, Gabe, optimistically, are they just a steady franchise that consistently is going to be in the playoffs, but probably not go very far in them?
Yeah, I think if you're asking who's Jordan Love, what is Jordan Love, that's on you. You're not paying attention. Like, I don't think we need to. Are we still having that conversation of what Jordan Love is? I don't think. Are we? I thought we just talked about that yesterday. I think he's one of the better quarterbacks in this league. He's a top 10 guy. Can he be a top 10 guy? Yep. Okay. Move on to the next thing. I don't think we're still having that. Now, if you want to have that conversation about LaFleur, that's probably fair. Right?
Yeah, but Gabe, you fall into that category.
Yeah, I think LaFleur's
because I asked you flat out next year if they go 10 or 11 and 6, 7 seed lose again, you don't want to fire flipping LaFleur.
Well, no,
I want everyone in the building gone. I am so sick of spinning wheels.
Yeah,
that's what we do here. We spin wheels.
Chewy, you can yell until you're blue in the face. I just said I don't think that the Packers would fire him.
Oh, I thought you said you wouldn't want him fired.
No, I would say the Packers wouldn't fire him because I don't think they'd give him this contract extension. If he goes out and wins 11 games, I think the context matters. I don't think they would go and fire a guy who just won 11 games after they only won 9 the year previous. I don't think that's the way that policy would do it. Again, hard to make that assumption, but based on them giving him a contract extension and it, based on the reporting around it, took a day to do. Didn't seem like there was much contentiousness there.
Well, that's why I want to know.
Like demands placed on Matt LaFleur. So based on that reporting, they would have to miss the playoffs and win like 6 games, I think, in order for him to be fired. Now, maybe if he goes 11 games, Chew, and they get bounced right away in the first round again, the seat in the level of the heat on the seat gets turned up. But if they make the playoffs again next year, I just don't think he would get fired.
That's why I wanted to know. That's why, for me, there's a huge difference between giving him a 3-year deal and a 5-year deal.
Fair.
Okay? Because if you gave him a 5-year deal, you got no balls. I'm sorry. You have none. Okay? You don't. I would go in there and say, I expect a lot from you next year, and there's one excuse I'm going to accept, and that is it. If your quarterback doesn't play for the majority of the year, that is it. I don't want to hear this garbage anymore. Figure it out. Stop with the schmoozy stuff. Have tough conversations. Someone's not performing like Rich Bisaccia. Hey, great guy, nice guy. You underperformed. You're the highest guy in the league. You should be fired. Okay? Sorry. The money has a lot to do with it. It represents how good we believe you are. I mean, let me ask you this. The Dolphins cut Tyreek Hill in their D end. Why is our guy still there? Why is he still there?
Because Wizard of Oz, because Jeff Hafley went in there and he was like, these are the guys I can win with. These are the guys I can't win with, right? They had a sweeping change in leadership. Packers haven't had that,
no.
Right? Sometimes it takes that change in leadership in order to go in and make those changes in personnel. Because again, if Goody is there, Goody is going to do everything he can to get those guys to perform as proof of concept, as a validation of his decision in the first place, right?
Yeah.
The guys that Goody picks are going to get every opportunity to prove him right. And that probably explains the difference between what you're seeing happening in Miami right now and what has happened in Green Bay, or what hasn't happened in Green Bay. A great question here. Have the Packers plateaued into predictability?
We'll give them one more year.
Yeah, for me, it's hard to escape the feeling that we had when they were up by so much before the injuries in Denver.
I agree.
They were up by 9, and if you were watching that game, I guarantee you're thinking, look out, this team's starting to find its stride. Then the interception happens, Zach Tom goes down, Micah Parsons goes down, and they just never recovered. And if you want to question their toughness about not being able to overcome some of those injuries, like from a mental standpoint as a team, probably fair, because you got to move on, right? You got to be able to still go out there and close out games,
but
especially
to your
when
point,
you have leads.
And I know that Rashawn Gary catches a lot of heat here on this program, but when Micah Parsons went down, the general thought was, hey, here's an opportunity, man. Here's an opportunity. It's not ideal. We don't love that we lost the best defensive player, but you got a shot to show everybody that you are not what they say you are. Go out, make plays, make a difference, and make us feel better about Micah Parsons not being out there, and that didn't happen.
Yeah. But when you, I mean, I get it on offense because I just said Jordan Love, if something happened to him. I get it there. One player going down on the defense shouldn't be catastrophic and then just absolutely tank, which they did. The defense absolutely tanked at the end of the year. They sucked against the Bears. They sucked against the Ravens. It shouldn't happen.
Yeah, but Micah's such a difference maker, man. Like, the reason why you pay Micah what you pay him is because he can have that impact. Like, quarterbacks get paid all that money too because they're supposed to make your offensive line look better, your wide receivers look better. Micah makes the team look better when he's out there. He makes the rest of the defensive line look better. He makes the cornerbacks look better because, I mean, he finished the year third in pressures despite missing the last 4 games. Like he was putting up numbers similar to the guy who set the sack record and was the defensive player of the year going away, and he missed the last 4 games because of the torn ACL, because that's how much of a difference maker he was. And that's why you pay him that money. Now, do you have to be better than they were? Absolutely. But he does have that quarterback effect on the defense. I won't go as far to say it's the same, but it's as close as you can get on the defensive side of the football.
Yeah, I just don't know, because I look when Reggie went down that year.
You guys just have a lot better
I know,
players.
But whatever. Our defense didn't tank.
Well, yeah, but then Reggie's hamstring was healed by God, and he came back.
He still wasn't himself.
But you guys still had another Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
You had a lot of veterans across that defensive line. Linebacking core was really solid.
Yeah.
But you guys were, we went through this. You guys were the 5th best team in the Super Bowl era.
Yeah.
Right? You guys had a lot more pieces than this defense does.
I asked the question, and I wonder if it scares people a little bit to say maybe what they're thinking, right? Say the quiet part out loud. But it does feel like right now the Packers have plateaued. Whether you want to add the caveat of into predictability or not, there is this idea of 7 seed again, 7 seed early exit in the playoffs. And again, I know I have been the one banging the drum, championing the explanation that the injuries played a huge role in this team falling short. And I will continue to claim that. I do think that if Micah Parsons is on the field, I do think that if Zach Tom is on the field, I do think that if Tucker Kraft is on the field, you see a different result from this team. That being said, there seem to be a lot of cracks in the foundation. And the Rich Bisaccia thing today, guys, for whatever reason, is sort of amplifying those cracks.
Yeah, those three players you named, though, Jen, I guess that's just why I'm not going to say I think they've plateaued. Like, those three are probably going to be Pro Bowlers next year, assuming they're healthy, if not in contention for All-Pro.
ACLs, 2 ACLs.
Again, assuming they're healthy. Again, guys, it's more often than not, Chew, guys come back from ACLs. Now, some don't. Obviously, we saw that with Bakhtiari. He had a lot more stuff with his knees, but I feel in 2026, more guys come back from ACLs.
Oh, I'm not
just
saying
as good.
that they don't come back. I'm just saying Micah Parsons, his first game back, is not going to be cut on a dime like he was this past year, as explosive. I am not banking on that at all. I'm just saying.
I think he's still going to go out there and be one of the best.
Oh, I think he's a Pro Bowler, but I think, you don't have to wait as long as you did back in my day for an ACL. But still, it's a process.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a process. I mean, look at Christian Watson. And it's tougher on big-bodied guys, obviously. I mean, Christian Watson, he finished strong, but he had to ramp up to that.
I mean, he didn't really, though. I mean, I think his best game might have been that Steelers game, his first game back.
Was it?
Yeah. I mean, he played really well. And again, I think they probably held him out maybe just a hair longer, Chew. Just to kind of make sure. But again, he's also not the quick twitch guy.
But aren't you doing the same thing we do every year? Oh, this is a Super Bowl team. And then we get there and it falls apart. Ooh, this is a Super Bowl team. You get there and it falls apart.
Yeah, I mean,
we've been saying the same thing the last 2 years.
Sure, but I guess I just look at those three, and I want to see what happens if those three are healthy at the end of the year, Chew. And I want to see what happens if those three... in particular, because they're going to have injuries. They're going to. But if they avoid the big-time injuries, I just want to see what happens before I go, yep, they're stagnant, they're stale. Because those three guys are just so important.
I do want to add one other layer to this, not to be argumentative, but if we believe that those three players who we've referenced were the difference between this team being out like they were in the first round and potentially being in the NFC Championship game or beyond, then doesn't Goody deserve some credit for acquiring those players, having those players, those type of difference makers on the field? Again, just for argumentative sake right now, because I want to get to some reaction here. I think the main reason special teams coach left was because he was tired of not being given any quality players to work with. This from Steve in New Berlin. Look at the teams at the top for special teams. Most of them are garbage team because everybody's fair game to use. And he means using offensive players and using defensive players. And one more comment from the YouTube comments. D. Payne says, the Packers are a mom and pop shop that refuses to change with the times and sticks to traditional things, even if it doesn't bring great results. 800-990-3776. Rich Bisaccia stepping down as special teams coordinator. I know a lot of people are very excited about that this morning, as special teams has underperformed at the very least over the last 4 years. But what does that mean going forward? We'll continue talking about that this morning on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Guys, I'm telling you, if you're getting ready to propose, the Jewelry Center, the place to go for that ring. It's the go-to spot for diamond engagement rings in Milwaukee for a reason. It's what I did. And that reason that I think separates the Jewelry Center, it's that great team that they've got. Whether you're going to Brookfield, Greenfield, Burlington, or Mequon, they're going to always point you in the right direction. Whether you have an idea, whether you don't have an idea, go to our Pinterest page, see if there's anything there that you can bring in. And the helpful team at the Jewelry Center is going to make sure that that dream ring becomes a reality, whether it's a naturally mined diamond, a lab-grown diamond, whatever you're looking for, the Jewelry Center has it. So check out the inventory. Again, stop in Greenfield, Brookfield, Burlington, now in Mequon, or shop online, shoptjc.com.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Please still have that crash on 894 eastbound. Now the left lane is blocked with this at Loomis. So just watch out for the delays. Everybody's kind of shifting over to the right. Delays coming from 92nd Street past that scene. The westbound side heavy out of the Mitchell interchange all the way to that accident scene, since everybody has to slow down and take a peek at what is going on. Southbound on 43 backing up from Hampton all the way down to about Locust. Northbound's a little heavy right around the North Avenue curve up to Locust. And westbound 94 backing up from 27th Street all the way past Mitchell Boulevard. Traffic is brought to you by Glenroy, now hiring. As the packaging industry rapidly grows, so does Glenroy. Apply today at glenroy.com/careers. That's GLENROY.com/careers. And check out the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, becoming mostly sunny, windy, and warm. A high of 60 tonight, increasing clouds, a low of 35. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Truth Nation, mark your calendars for Friday, February 20th, as we will be hosting our second annual Truth Community Awards, hosted by the legendary Home, Blow, and Bailey Cope. Tickets are on sale now. Visit 1017truthawards.com to learn more. The Truth Community Awards are sponsored by Milwaukee College Prep, the Milwaukee Bucks, Gruber, Steinhoffel, Cousin Subs, and 3rd Street Market Hall. Come celebrate with us on Friday, February 20th at the Truth Community Awards from 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Do not miss out on the best community awards event of the year.
The dance of sunlight on water.
Shimmering, sparkling, beautiful, hypnotic.
Houses that overlook a gorgeous body of water are the most highly desired houses in the world.
The Bellamare collection of fine jewelry features classic white diamonds, flanked and surrounded by rare and exotic blue diamonds.
Bellamare means beautiful water.
Bellamare, sunlight on water, glimmering and twinkling.
The dance is enticing.
The look is spectacular.
The impact is exciting.
Blue and white diamonds created in the heart of Mother Nature
will dance and sing on the body of a glittering, sparkling woman.
Bellamare. This blue and white beauty of sunlight on water
should be worn on the fingers,
the wrist,
the neck, and the ears
of the woman you love.
The Bellamare collection is available only at Kessler's.
We do diamonds better because diamonds are what we do.
For the location of the Kessler's nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Want your brand to turn heads and win hearts?
Captivate Exhibits can bring your brand to life by transforming lobbies, creating history walls, and beautifying facilities.
For over 32 years, Captivate has been the MVP of trade show exhibits and workplace design and fabrication. Let Captivate craft immersive branded environments that tell your story boldly, beautifully, and with purpose at events and around the office.
Score big by making your next event or your own space unforgettable. Create something legendary by getting started today at CaptivateExhibits.com.
Many wins. Many wins. Waiting at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. This February, you could break the bank and get down with a share of $300,000 in prizes. Bust out your rewards card and play to earn entries. It all goes down with Thursday drawings. Break the bank. Only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Come grow with us at Glenroy. For more than 6 decades, our family-owned company has built its reputation on quality, reliability, and providing strong career opportunities in our community. As the packaging industry rapidly grows, so does Glenroy. Here, you'll find competitive wages, a clean, modern workspace, fully vested 401k, yearly bonus award, and the chance to build a manufacturing career with purpose. Apply today at glenroy.com/careers. That's GLENROY.com/careers.
It's Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
My father would always say, and there's a rhyme and a reason to it. He said, if you wear your rubbers in the house, you'll go blind. Do the two youngsters on the show here even know what rubbers are? I'm talking the ones that go over the shoes.
On 94.5 ESPN.
I love how I keep flipping my show sheet over and over and over again, hoping that there's something else on there that isn't Giannis Antetokounmpo related. Nope, sure isn't. I guess we're doing the Giannis Antetokounmpo thing then, huh? Here we go. So let's just bypass, because I believe we addressed on Monday the Giannis with Malika Andrews conversation, right? Mm-hmm. We talked about that. I want to win a championship with the Milwaukee Bucks, but if that's not on the table, maybe I got to pivot because I really want to win. Obviously setting a championship standard, also explaining where he's coming from. I know that there are some fans out there, not all, but some who still struggle to hear that caveat. But I think Giannis has been pretty transparent with regards to what is important to him. So let's go to this next level of it, because in a non-shocking development, ESPN reacted to the Malika Andrews, Giannis Antetokounmpo conversation, and I believe it was Danny Green who was on the set. Will, do you have what Danny Green had to say about how he sees this thing rolling forward?
He's very calculated what he's saying. He knows what he's saying, but it, like Bobby said, Mr. Marks, it's day to day, week to week, month to month with him in Milwaukee, and they don't want to trade him. I wouldn't want to trade him either. So
he's the franchise. He's
but
the business.
If you want to keep him, you got to go out in the market and find somebody that can keep him there. If I'm the Milwaukee Bucks, I'm monitoring what the Clippers are doing with the Kawhi situation. If you can get a player like Kawhi or something similar to that, that can keep Giannis home and then also build around that group to make it a contention in the East.
I can't agree with him more. If you can keep Giannis, you keep Giannis. But if they do have to come to a split, hey, job well done. Nobody's hanging their head over it. Y'all won. Y'all did what y'all was supposed to do. If Giannis got to get out of here and see some bright lights or get some better weather, hey, by all means.
Who is that talking second, Gabe?
Iman
That's what I thought. I thought it was Iman. Your reaction to Kawhi in Milwaukee, a suggestion to keep Giannis in Milwaukee.
Yeah, look, it's not the ideal solution, right? Because the Bucks have actively wanted to get younger. Part of the reason why they moved on from the core that won the championship in 2021. But he's going to be an expiring contract next year, and the Clippers have been a team. They obviously just traded away James Harden. Maybe they decide to hit the reset button. Who knows what happens with the investigation into inappropriate money being funneled towards Kawhi, and if the Clippers ultimately get punished for that. But I think you got to keep an eye on it, because I don't know who else you would be able to get that would be at the level of Kawhi Leonard that you could pair with Giannis, and Giannis could go, oh yeah, that would make sense. And look, Kawhi would be somebody who doesn't need the ball all the time that could work, and I think would work, because he still has, he leads the league this year in steals, so he still has his defensive prowess despite being a little bit older. Again, you worry about the injury history, certainly, and is he going to be healthy? It's a question you're going to have to ask, but if you're looking to pair him next to a superstar, it might be the one that could be available that you could pull something off for.
How do you get him? You have to trade for him?
Yep.
What assets do they have to get Kawhi?
Well, again, if Kawhi asks out, you might be able to buy low, because the Clippers decide, hey, we don't want him to walk away for nothing. You'll have more access to more of your draft picks this summer, so you get a couple more that you can trade. So it's not going to take 3 or 4 first-round picks to get Kawhi Leonard on an expiring deal. And
then how many other teams would want Kawhi?
Yeah, you'd have to go into a bidding war for it, certainly. But I don't know. It certainly would be on the list, and John Horst has been creative. I think it's something that you have to look into if you're the Bucks and you want to get another superstar to pair next to Giannis.
How old is Kawhi?
He is 34, so he'll be 35 next season.
So Dame-ish.
Yeah, even older. Yeah, I guess in the
when
same,
they got Dame.
Yeah.
I'm saying when they got Dame.
Yeah, similar, yeah.
Yeah.
But again, he's somebody who's still shooting the ball incredibly efficiently. He's a better shooter than he probably gets credit for. He's a guy who's shot over 40% the last handful of years from 3, and he shoots 50% overall from the field, and his scoring's even up this year compared to years past. So I think it would be something that would make a ton of sense if they could pull it off, which, true, you had a lot of questions, and those are all fair about, okay, how do you pull that off?
No, I know, but you talk about consistency, playing together for a while. There's no, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's no quick cure.
No.
So it still would take a little time with a 35-year-old guy.
Yeah, but we're talking about Hail Marys here, too, right? Like,
yeah.
you're going to be just kind of
Is that
dropping
where we're
back
at?
and chucking it to the end zone to try to keep Giannis here.
Okay.
But I think that would be something that Giannis would be interested in. Get another superstar, good defensive player. I think it's one that makes some sense for the Bucks. I think it would be intriguing to Giannis.
So you think financially that's a possibility?
Yes. It would. I've looked at it this morning. You could trade, and again, they could do more. But Miles Turner and Kuzma, their contracts work. You could trade those two, obviously, other draft picks mean, I don't know if they would want to give up. I don't know if the Clippers would want that, right? I don't know what they would necessarily want in return, but it would be financially feasible for the Bucks to trade away some of the guys that they have, throw some picks in there, and financially make the deal work.
I guess I have a little bit of PTSD from the Dame Lillard situation, which again was a freak accident, but also it was definitely an all-in move by the Milwaukee Bucks. Leonard has a lengthy injury history, as you mentioned. I think I would be a little bit hesitant to, again, hitch my wagon to somebody who has been as oft injured as he has been, and hoping that he would stay healthy. As we have discussed, health incredibly important to a long and successful run in the NBA. It feels pipe dreamish.
It does a little.
But again, like I just don't know who else you're convincing to come here.
And you don't know if Kawhi wants to come. I mean, he's in LA.
That too. He is a prickly fella.
Yes.
What is it with us and the prickly / complicated / what is it? What is it about these guys, huh?
But I mean, these are the types of things, because I don't think you're going to be able to go out there and get a young star, right? Like somebody who's in their late 20s, early 30s. The reason why Kawhi could potentially make sense is because he's a little bit older. He's going to be on an expiring deal, and you might be able to buy low given limited resources the Bucks have.
800-990-3776. Would you be in on Milwaukee acquiring Kawhi Leonard? Danny Green suggested it on NBA Today, saying that maybe this would be a move that would incentivize Giannis to stay in Milwaukee, which, again, I think we all can agree is the number one priority right now for the Milwaukee Bucks organization. Would you be in on acquiring Kawhi Leonard this offseason, right? It's unlikely to happen the remainder of this season. It would be an offseason move.
Yeah, so he's not going to get bought out of this. Kawhi's got this year, next year at $50 million each year left on his contract. So this would be an offseason move of keeping an eye on what's happening in the Clippers. Maybe Kawhi would be eligible for an extension, so maybe he decides, hey, I want to stay in LA, I want to sign the extension, which is why Danny Green said, hey, keep an eye on that. And if that dude becomes available, that's one the Bucks should be monitoring and potentially aggressive going after.
Reaction rolling in on the YouTube stream. Kawhi is great, but not at 35. And once he's not happy, he gets quote unquote hurt. User, that's a random username. Crazy Pills. Kawhi at 35 and Giannis at 32, and both get injured a lot. You did appropriately name it a Hail Mary, though, so they appreciate that candor from you. Don't do it, because once you do, you'll have to give him the Jimmy Butler extension, especially for his age. That from D Payne 3646.
Yeah, and look, because he's somebody that hasn't been, because of the injury stuff, really an all-NBA type guy. Like the latest contract wasn't like this big supermax that Giannis is also getting. It's not that. Again, it's still a lot of money, but it's not. Oh, we've got two supermax guys next to each other. That's not the type of extension. Now you would have to give him a pretty good extension, certainly, but. Desperate times, desperate measures. I think that's the way the Bucks are going to have to look at this thing.
Supper Club Mark weighing in saying, you're wasting your breath. Leonard is not coming to Milwaukee. Just make Ham the head coach and the Bucks will be fine. He made great decisions the other day when they beat the Thunder. 800-990-3776. We're putting it on the Jen, Gabe, and Chewy Infinity Exteriors poll as well. Would you be in on the Bucks obtaining Kawhi Leonard this offseason? Don't forget, it is a Wendorf Wednesday here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. And I want to tell you guys about my friends over at Geis. For 70 years, Geis has been the trusted garage door authority in Wisconsin. Don't let a busted garage door get you down. Just call my friends at Geis today. With brands like CHI and LiftMaster, they have doors for every budget, and they'll even build you a custom design to meet your exact needs if that's what you want. Don't think twice. Call Geis. GeisDoors.com. That's GEIS Doors.com. GEIS Doors.com.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Eastbound 894 at Loomis. We do still have that left lane blocked because of the accident that's there. One of the cars is hooked up onto a tow truck. Should be out of there pretty soon. Unfortunately, damage is done. We got backups coming out of the Hale interchange all the way to that point. Westbound, everybody's got to slow down, take a peek. So backups from the Mitchell interchange to just past Loomis as well. Southbound 43, we got backups just before Hampton all the way down past Capitol Drive to about Locust. Northbound 4394, we got backups backups around the Plainfield curve all the way up past Oklahoma Avenue. Back on the brakes from Beecher onto the high-rise bridge. And check out the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, becoming mostly sunny, windy, and warm. A high of 60 tonight, increasing clouds, a low of 35. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
2026 Brewers tickets are on sale now. This year, it all kicks off at our house with opening day at home, followed up with a schedule that's absolutely loaded. Throw in the same flair for the dramatic thrills on any given night. Plus Brewers giveaways you won't forget. And you've got a season you're going to have to see to believe. Don't miss a second of Brewers action this year. The crew is back for more. All Brewers tickets for the 2026 season are on sale now at Brewers.com.
February means big savings at Exterior Pros and Baths. Upgrade your home with energy-efficient windows, durable roofing, new siding, or a beautiful bath makeover and get $3,000 off your project. That's $3,000 in instant savings, but only for a limited time during our February winter savings event. Call 262-800-4274 or visit extpros.com now. Exterior Pros and Baths. Big savings done right.
This Valentine's month, Milwaukee Weight Loss is sharing the love with $300 off during our Valentine's sale. Now through February 28th only. It's the perfect time to fall in love with the result-getting Milwaukee Weight Loss program. We know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day with no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no counting points or calories, no drugs, no surgery, and no injections with the risk of serious side effects. Whether you want to look great for Valentine's Day, an upcoming event, or just for you, you can start losing those unwanted pounds right now. No more losing weight and gaining it back. This program helps you keep the weight off for good. Visit MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation today.
Josh DiMaggio here, and I have already lost 15 pounds since I started this journey in mid-January, and now it's your time to show yourself some love with $300 off. But hurry, this Valentine's sale ends February 28th. Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. Call 262-235-3980 now for your free consultation. That's 262-235-3980 or visit MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
Results may vary.
Don't think twice. Call Geist.
Don't let a busted garage door get you down. Call my friends at Geist today. For 70 years, Geist has been the trusted garage door authority in Wisconsin. With brands like CHI and LiftMaster, they have doors for every budget and will even build custom designs to get your exact needs. For swift and reliable garage repair solutions, go to geistdoors.com. That's GEIS doors.com. You can also visit their amazing showroom in Brookfield, featuring hundreds of doors and openers and their custom design room.
Don't think twice. Call Geist.
Hey Tom, I want a new hoop for the kids. Any ideas?
Yeah, I got mine from Precision Sports over 10 years ago. They helped me choose the right hoop, installed it, and even painted my court lines.
Nice. How do I reach them?
Easy. PrecisionSportsOnline.com for a free quote.
Prizes.
Flyaways.
Even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNWisconsinContests.com.
That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com. You are listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
You
called them a
white you find someone else
earlier.
From one white stiff to another. I'm pretty well versed in the realm of stiffs.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Back here on a Wendorf Wednesday here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Can you feel it? The thrill of witnessing a walk-off grand slam, a game-winning touchdown, a buzzer-beating three. You know that feeling. And there's only one place to experience it. It's at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. All the action in a supreme space. Dozens of sports betting kiosks, drinks, and luxury seating. Great food, a fiery atmosphere, and that monster video wall where you can take in all the action. Must be 21 years old to enter the casino. Become a legend at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I want to get back to this Rich Bisaccia situation because the one thing that keeps coming back to me is how much Brian Gutekunst and Matt LaFleur and players in the locker room complimented, praised Rich Bisaccia. And one of the main words, the buzzwords that came out of those conversations was culture. That Rich Bisaccia was a good culture guy. So I can only imagine that he kind of carried himself a certain way, and then that sort of bled over to the players. There was sort of this magnetism, if you will. I think I've said that before about, what was I talking about, Saban last week or something? But just an aura, perhaps. And when you're trying to create a culture, and Chewy, you know this having been in locker rooms, it's important for guys when they walk in to know what the standard is, what the culture is, what is expected of them. And I can only assume that Rich Bisaccia was at least partially responsible for that with this group. Fair or unfair?
Fair. It just reminds me of a story, though, from college that kind of sums it up. Coughlin was the head coach. Just finished my senior year. And Gabe, you know Bull.
Your former roommate.
You know the power of Bull. Bull came into
He's got the heebie-jeebie power.
Yep, he came into college.
Him a liar?
No, he came into college highly recruited, but had injury issues and didn't play a ton, played some his senior year, so we're at our senior banquet. And players get up, and he's like, this guy was a hell of a linebacker, blah, 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 this receiver. This guy would sell out, make plays. He was great after the catch. And then he gets to Bull, and he said, Bull is a solid citizen. And that was it. And Bull was like, what the hell?
I want to say
that's
important.
What
being a solid citizen is important.
Yes.
I don't know if
yes.
it's the compliment you want from your coach.
And culture, Gabe, culture is important.
Yes. Yep.
Culture is very important.
It is.
But this is what that feels like. Rich Bisaccia is a solid citizen. That's how I feel. Fair?
I wish I could have seen the look on Bull's face. He's like, wait, what?
Still tells the story today, and he's still ticked
hacked
off
off
at Coughlin.
Yep, exactly.
40 years later, or 35 years later.
I guess my concern, Chew, is if that guy was so important to the quote-unquote culture, where is it coming from now? Because there haven't been any other real sweeping changes. Is the expectation that the new special teams coordinator is going to be somehow responsible for culture? Is Matt LaFleur needing to step up in that space to pick up the slack from what Rich Bisaccia leaves behind? Like, I am all for a compliment like that, basically saying this is a reason, not the only reason, but this is a reason why this guy is important to this organization. So then when you lose it, am I not supposed to wonder where it comes from in his absence?
I think the Packers already had culture. They've had it for the last X amount of years. They've had it since Lombardi. San Francisco has culture. Pittsburgh has culture. Green Bay has culture. Like Adam said, winning creates culture. Culture comes from the top. Comes from policy.
So again, yes. So let's do this. Let's do the thing. Because Packers don't have an owner to quote-unquote establish culture.
Mm-hmm.
So then it falls on Ed Policy, the president of the Packers. We don't know a lot about Policy. I would guess that there are players who are still getting to know Ed Policy, even though he's been with the organization. I don't want to act like he just parachuted in. So what is his vibe? What are his expectations? You know what I mean? Like, that's going to be a transition period.
Mm-hmm.
Then, again, I keep going back to if they were heaping the praise on Bisaccia regarding his culture and the culture he brings to the organization, was it lacking from other leaders? And he was sort of the responsible for it. He was the rah-rah guy. And again, I don't know if it's rah-rah. Again, I'm speculating on a lot of this stuff. But Gabe, when you learn that somebody who was lauded as being a culture guy is now gone, do you not worry about where that's going to come from?
Not really, because to me, again, culture is just one of those things that's always hard to define. But people always want to talk about it. And it's just hard to kind of put your finger on it. And to me, when you are in a position like Rich Bisaccia, it's just more about how he carries himself and how that's perceived and then how that maybe rubs off on different guys. But I don't think that you're going into a hiring cycle going, oh, we've got to find a guy that's just going to be, the culture is going to be his thing. He's going to grow the culture. He's going to, because I just don't think that's, to me, that's just not how it works. Culture is just kind of one of those things that you learn by watching, that you know what the expectations are, and then that kind of bleeds off.
Right, holding
to
guys
other
accountable,
people.
right?
Yeah.
Again, I don't want to be the person who's doing this, but I will right now. If holding guys accountable is a big part of culture, and again, these are sort of ambiguous explanations.
Correct.
Have we seen guys being held accountable? We talk about Rashawn Gary loafing. We have talked about Keyshawn Nixon running his mouth and getting some of those penalties that we think are totally egregious. We obviously talked about Jair Alexander when he was here. Does it feel like there's an accountability issue at times with the organization?
Well, so what's interesting there is you just named 3 guys on the defensive side of the football. They got a new defensive coordinator, right? I mean, if that is an issue, maybe Jeff Hafley wasn't also holding people accountable. That's entirely possible, right? I mean, as much as we love Haf, and obviously the Dolphins do too, but it's interesting to me that the 3 people that you named were on the defensive side of the football. Okay, maybe they're not being held accountable. Okay, maybe that was
Let's go back. I'll give you another culture example, Chew. People were really hacked off when Jordan Love took an egregious hit and the offensive line didn't walk over there and get in the face of the defense, right?
Yeah, but
is that culture?
Sure. Yeah, but you know who would have got in his face?
Elton.
A guy they disrespected. In my eyes, a guy they disrespected. Because Elton would have been in guys' mustaches,
Without a doubt.
To me, special teams is a young man's game because you're coaching majority of young guys.
Yeah, guys who are trying to hang on, grab a spot on the roster, right?
Yeah,
Show that they have value.
And I was special teams my first 2.5 years. I was special teams, and I had Nolan Cromwell, who Nolan was probably early 30s, and then I had Johnny Holland, who I played with. I played with Johnny Holland, so Johnny was probably, early 30s too. I just think it's a young man's game. You have to have a ton of energy. You are running down with the guys on kickoff or kickoff return. You're in the mix. It's a different kind of coaching. The special teams coaches, I think, are your most animated coaches, and they have to be. Because you're dealing with so many different guys in and out. You're not coaching the same tight end or the same 3 tight ends throughout the year. Guys get hurt. They get cut. It's moving. It's flowing. And 65, I don't know if you have the energy to do it. I'm sorry. And that might have been the reason for the decline.
I guess first and foremost, how important do you think culture is to overall team success? Because there are some arguments that culture is the glue. Culture is the thing that has everybody pulling the boat in the same direction, rowing the boat in the same direction. Culture is accountability. Culture is knowing what is expected of you and then having your feet held to the fire to make that happen.
But you know what else culture is, Jen? It's that list that the NFL doesn't want out there.
Yeah.
Right? That's culture too. Oh, the food sucks here. Well, they don't care. The weight room's got... these are all important things, and it's all about winning. It's all about winning, because when I first came to the Packers, you kind of sit there and go, I don't understand why they sucked in the 70s and in the 80s. I got to go through 2 practices and wear the same jock and wear the same nasty gray T-shirt for two
2-a-days?
Training camp 2-a-days? I'm like, that's culture.
Yeah, well, it's cheap culture is what it is.
Yeah. Yes.
Frugal culture.
I also think that a lot of it maybe just needs to fall more on the players. Because I having this conversation, Shu, I think back to the story you tell frequently of when Frank got upset that Bob McGinn had wrote an article about how he had stunk, or mentioned in his article that he stunk.
Accountability.
And you went up and went, Frank, you sucked. Just admit it. And I'm willing to bet that probably meant more to Frank coming from you than if you would have heard it from the offensive line coach. I don't know who it was at that time. But hearing it from you, I think it probably hit him a little bit more. And the fact that you were comfortable enough to say that to Frank because you knew that Frank was going to respect what you said, that's...
Gabe, Frank's a Richard. Okay, he really is. The only one that appreciated that conversation was Bob McGinn. And that's it.
Well, and us, because you've gotten so much run out of it over the last 6 years.
But Frank is an outstanding citizen.
He is a solid citizen.
We've enjoyed having Professional Construction Inc. help us with our home projects. As you might know, my husband and I are not the most handy, so when we have something that is too much for us, we call our friends at PCI because they are the pros in remodeling projects, home additions, and even building a new home. Brand new, PCI is now offering a virtual interior design program. Maybe not ready for a full construction project, but if you're ready to refresh that outdated room, they can give you stunning photorealistic renderings, a mood board, and a curated shopping list, all delivered directly to you. Learn more at professionalconstructioninc.com. It's professionalconstructioninc.com.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
Half of American parents cannot afford diapers. Hi, this is WTMJ's Kristen Bry. This spring, WTMJ and the Milwaukee Diaper Mission are teaming up to change that. Join me for WTMJ Cares, Bowling for Babies, where we will raise funds for Milwaukee Diaper Mission. Register to bowl with us on March 7th at Village Bowl in Menominee Falls. Registration is now open. Go to WTMJCares.com to sign up. Act quickly, teams will fill up fast. It's WTMJ Cares, Bowling for Babies to help the Milwaukee Diaper Mission.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The following is a paid advertisement for the Wellness Company.
Today we're talking cancer awareness, and I want to bring in someone with a really unique perspective, Dr. Kelly Victory. She's a board-certified emergency medicine physician with over 30 years of experience who serves on the chief medical board for the Wellness Company. And most importantly, she's a cancer survivor. Dr. Victory, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks very much for having me, Michelle.
We've been hearing a lot lately about cancer rates rising, especially in younger adults, which is obviously pretty alarming. What are you seeing?
Without question, cancer rates are rising across the board. And concerningly, we are seeing more aggressive cancers in people even in their 20s and 30s.
That's scary for a lot of people. Is there anything that can be done to help alleviate that fear?
And that is what led me to develop the new product Shield, because it is a group of more than 12 well-studied, scientifically proven supplements that help to supercharge your immune system, the first line of defense against cancer.
To learn more, visit victoryagainstcancer.com and use promo code SMALLS to save $25 on Shield.
Always consult your doctor to determine if this product is right for you.
At Ewald Automotive Group, we believe in life, liberty, and the pursuit of lower payments. That's why we're giving you $1,500 over book value for your trade. Get into a new vehicle with payments starting under $250 a month. Over 1,400 vehicles backed by our low price guarantee. $1,500 more for your trade. Payments starting under $250. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of lower payments. Based on Kelley Blue Book Fair Trade Value. Applies to 2013 or newer model years. Payment offer on select vehicles with approved credit expires month end.
Homer here with a message about Three Pillars Senior Living Communities, located on a serene setting along the Bark River on 300 gorgeous acres. Three Pillars Senior Living Communities is a top-ranked full continuum community. Active adult, independent living, assisted living, memory care, skilled nursing, and rehab. Three Pillars, the hands-down choice for you or your loved one. Been there. Know people who live there. They love it. You gotta go to Dousman and see it in person. Get all the info on Three Pillars at threepillars.org.
Make your fitness goals last with Johnson Fitness and Wellness, the largest specialty fitness retailer in the country with 5 locations in the Milwaukee area. At Johnson Fitness and Wellness, you'll find top-rated treadmills, strength equipment, ellipticals, bikes, and more, all guided by certified fitness experts who match the right equipment to your goals, space, and budget. And with white glove delivery and installation, plus flexible financing options, you can build your home gym with confidence. Visit one of their stores today or online at johnsonfitness.com.
It's Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Bubble is a
Tuna.
app.
It's tuna.
I love tuna. I had some last night.
How do you eat your tuna?
Can we, for once, grow up on this show?
On 94.5 ESPN.
A weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend. Tune into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production. Marcus and his son Chris, a 1995 UCLA hoops champ himself, talk about everything happening in the Bucks world and are joined by some of the biggest names in basketball. Plus, they'll answer some of your questions too. Stay on the beat of the Bucks. Find Here District now, bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Reaction continues to roll in as we discuss Rich Bisaccia stepping down as special teams coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. Josh weighing in saying the quiet part is the head coach and quarterback need to set the culture. Meanwhile, Chris says, so the culture is a lack of accountability across the board. And then I would assume some of this could be attributed to not having a Kenny Clark or a guy or two over 30 or whoever has been around. That from Tyler, all of that on the YouTube stream. You can always stream our show every single day on the ESPN Wisconsin YouTube stream. I think all of those things are fair, Chew.
They are, but I mean, if you look to Micah Parsons, he's fired some shots across Rashawn Gary's bow, and that did nothing, right?
Yeah,
his brother helped out too, Micah Parsons' brother. So, I mean, that's up to the coaching staff. If a player on the same line can't get to a guy, that's got to come from somewhere higher. And obviously, I agree, there are accountability issues.
But I mean, some guys just don't listen, Chew.
Yeah,
doesn't matter who it comes from.
Yeah, no, you're right.
That's
why the vetting process has to be so important.
Well, and again, I just come back to the way you talk about like a guy like Ed West. The way I've heard Tausch talk about veterans that helped him out.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big part of the culture too, because, and again, it's with any team. The older guys that have been there for a while pass it down to the younger guys. And then when they're the older guys, they pass it down to the young guys.
But there are no older guys.
That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Who's more at fault for the Packers' special teams troubles? 69% of people.
Nice.
The Packers' system, 31% of people. Rich Bisaccia. You know Wilde and Tausch will be talking about this right now on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee.
Eastbound 94, we do have delays basically from 92nd Street all the way to Holly Road. Westbound, slowing down from before 27th past Mitchell Boulevard. Northbound 894 between Beloit Road and National Avenue. We're going to see a little bit of a heavy ride there. Also, eastbound 894, we are backing up from just before Forest Home all the way to about